You're listening to the Jōrni Podcast. Could the quality of your energy be actively rewriting your past and deciding your future while you sleep? Find out more about this mystery in today's episode. Hi, I'm Petra Brunbauer. What if everything we've been told about holistic health, healing, and well-being is only part of the story? Because thriving in today's world looks different than it used to. Here, we challenge the narratives, rethink what it means to become human, and explore how that shapes the way we lead, live, and step into our full potential. This is the Jōrni Podcast. Welcome to today's episode. We have all reached points where effort stops getting results, even after trying every physical, mental, and emotional approach available. Then an experience challenges everything we thought we understood about healing, time, and what the body is actually capable of. Kathie and Paul Scott have been enjoying a quantum life for 20 years, sharing with others what they love to do to expand their own awareness and live in peace and harmony. No small task, always a work in progress. For 20 years, Kathie and Paul have guided communities around the world to divine reflection and personal revelation through their own processes and discoveries in their own journey to the heart, Anahata. Their signature meditation is a 90-minute active breathwork and sound experience, augmented with the subtle medicinal power of raw cacao to help liberate the wings of your heart. Here is my interview with Kathie and Paul Scott. Before we begin today's episode, we have a special invitation for you. We often talk about personal growth as a solo journey, but the most profound shifts happen when we bring together our individual experiences. Imagine a week where you are engaging with a global community and learning from over 60 heart-led humans to bridge the gap between information and transformation. We are diving deep into the integration of mind, body, energy, human potential, and leadership to move beyond just surviving and into a state of collective thriving. Join us for the Holistic Wellbeing Summit from June 8th to 14th for speaker sessions and interactive live events to spark your next evolution. Get your free ticket now at holisticwellbeingsummit.com. And now, back to today's episode. Hi, Kathie and Paul. It's so great to have you on the podcast today. I've been looking forward to getting to chat with you because we'll be talking about how to live a quantum life. Is there anything better that we could talk about? Amazing. It's so great to have you here and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Petra.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. We've certainly enjoyed doing all of those quantum touch workshops with you over this year so far. And thanks for inviting us on to chat about that. It's been wonderful getting to know you and to show you what the quantum life world that we've created has been made up of and what it's like for us. So thanks again for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's just no way I could have even imagined what that quantum life journey looked like before we started at the beginning of this year. So yeah, I really feel that more people need to hear about this and get to know this for their own lives because it has been so impactful, right? And it is another way that we can start on our healing journey. We can make changes and transformations in our lives. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing that you're here to share that. And start us off with a little bit about your journey or your story or the parts of it that you feel connect to what you guys do today. And also let our listeners know what it is that you do today.
Yeah, man, where do you start in things like this, right? Because it's like what you've been through too, Petra. We all have these journeys. And I love that name, Journeyverse. Yeah. And eventually we do fall in love with the journey, even though it can be very intense. But the growth that comes out of it is always worth it. It's maybe a lot of times it's in hindsight, right? So when I see my life having gone through many things, addiction, bankruptcy, divorce, I had a healing crisis where I almost died. So these were all game changers, life changers. And it's usually what happens for most people. If things are going great, you're not really that interested in much. I'm having a good time. And some people are. But usually we're brought to it because something's happened in our life that it's got us questioning and thinking and reviewing things, right? So this is just my story, happened in a lot of different ways. It brought me to these places of self-healing, and the medical system just couldn't help. And I tried everything. And so it brought me into a world of naturopaths and healers and really looking at the emotional undertow of what symptoms that come up in our lives, whether it be physical or spiritual, emotional, or mental. They're all teachers. They're all our teachers. They all come with opportunities. If we just allow a pause to just breathe into it and really get curious about what it is that is happening here that is not actually against me, but for me. And this is when I think it becomes that journey verse. It's like it's changing our relationship to life and what happens to us, meeting it differently, and seeing it more as an opportunity and a pathway of expansion and growth and the magic that occurs. And then it does truly become a journeyverse, right? And yeah, to me, that's a quantum life is what it's brought in. And all of the different people I've met and modalities and just been amazing along the way. It just opened me up. And then when we found quantum touch, after doing many different modalities and a lot of things, it was really blew me away. And Kathie, it was like, wow, this is really a very powerful way of approaching healing, manifestation, just the magic, the wonder, all of it was just there. And that's really brings into focus a quantum life. And I think when we go beyond limitation and 3D reality and start tapping into our inner gifts and our potentials, that it opens up a new world. And then that world becomes our quantum life. It is a whole new life that opens up. In a sort of Cole's notes, I'll just speak for myself. I love this work because it's very holistic and it addresses it seems to be all of the different angles. It comes together as a whole. And it's the perfect, or let's say it's a very good tool, people to walk into the new human, the new world. It's actually a blueprint in a way. It's designed for living into that. Yeah, I could say a lot more, but that's the quantum life angle. But it's practical and it works and it's amazing and it's efficient, fast.
Yeah.
It's amazingly fast, which I love about it. And it can be very physical, very visceral, and it goes into the emotional realm, the mental realm, the physical realm. Yeah, it's fun. It really is an amazing journey. Yeah, that's me. I kind of went on
that. That's great. It's interesting because as I was listening to Paul describe his journey in it, we are so different, Paul and I, yet so much the same that it took so long to figure out our differences and what is different. But time told us. And it was like after a great deal of time, the way he uses quantum touch in his life and I in mine. And it's beyond quantum touch too. We are into so many things, but it has been our mainstay for 15 years instructing this course. And like Paul, for him, it's like he's had physical experiences. I'm all about the mental piece, right? And so it's not my body so much I go into with quantum touch. It's my mental construct, right? And so you think, how can a healing modality for the physical self in the sense of energy applies itself to everything. But when we do the demonstrations of some of the things in quantum touch, as you know yourself, Petra, over thousands of miles, your body shifted. And the track that took for the physical is the same one that I'm on with the mental. And that's the track of intention, attention, focus, frequency, vibration, resonance, entrainment, amplification, right? And Paul was on a Zoom with a client yesterday, and he was marveling because we were going to be talking to you today over the way it works physically, because he is very physical and he goes in and he does all this physical, not that he doesn't work with the mental realms, he's a transpersonal counselor and all of these things, but through that portal of quantum touch in our quantum life, it's very much been about taking the physical and putting it into some sort of coherence, that there's a mental coherence. And for me, the mental coherence has been my predomination in it. And when he was talking about this process he went through with a client over Zoom, who was not as many miles as you, but miles away, it was like I had just described to him this process I had gone through with something that I had listened to that is part of one of my activation pieces that I really works for me, which is astrology and gene keys and human design and stuff like that, right? And so I was listening to this beautiful astrologer talk about stuff, and I went through a process for myself, and I was like, wow, because I am a hermit and I'm not in the physical thing, it doesn't mean that this hasn't given me a massive tool. Like, I don't need to run around and heal people physically. So if you're thinking, oh, this wouldn't apply to me because it's, oh, yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will. Because it took me a while, but I really know the transmission I got and feel like I can emanate that to others in that place where I can go in the understanding of the mental. And then and it's all on the breath, which is another beautiful thing that Paul and I have been into forever and ever, is from the lying down Stanislav Grof breathwork thing to going to India and breathing in a temple with 1,000 people, and down into like we're working with it very fine, taking the individual's breath and teaching them the track it follows and how to follow intention, attention, focus, frequency, vibration, resonance, entrainment, amplification, and seeing how I have done that in my life, thinking of something from so far back, and then seeing how actually this whole doing this for 15 years brought me through something that now I actually apply that to, and it was like one of those old things that you think is all gone, and then it pops its little head up, and you go, oh wow, and you can't even see it the same way anymore from the transformation that little tiny steps on a daily basis with your energy and your breath have made over all those years. So yeah, we live the things we do. Like, who doesn't really? Like, you say that like it's some sort of an epiphany. We're actually living what we do all the time, right? And it's like, that's one of the things that one of my favorite things is running energy into the past and future from quantum touch, right? And it's just one day there was just this moment when we were heading into a level one, going to talk about the past and future and running energy into it. And I was like, oh my God. That's all we do. From the moment our eyes open to the moment we go into that crazy thing we call sleep, we're running energy into our past and future. There's so very little time spent in the present as we're referencing the past and jonesing about the future, right? And so it was like so then it became for me, and I think is really what quantum touch is pointing at, is what is the quality of the energy that you are running into your past and your future, because you will do that. Whether you make a vow every day not to think about the past and reference the future and not to go too far into the future, it will happen. It will still happen. And it's like, what's the quality of the energy? Paul loves to futurize. You can tell he's a visionary, right? And I'm Miss Practical, right? Always going, how's that going to happen? How's that going to happen? How's that going to happen? And we get escalating, and we'd be so far into the future that my brain, just imagine a little laptop smoking out the sides of it, right? And I say, I can't argue about the future. I can't argue about the future, right? It's just what you do all the time, right? But what's the quality of it? And that started to shift how I heard him and how I responded and how it treated my own nervous system and how I look at the future now in terms of manageability and what I feel I'm actually that exercise of yesterday, and I woke up and had my own thing that Paul did with the client and I did my own process. I said, they're the same, right? And I just went and rewrote my past. That's a higher quality resonant frequency that I hold around that whole chunk of my life now. And it happened like a drip campaign. And it started with these crazy workshops. Are you quantum touching me? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah. I think we could all use a little more quantum touching in our lives.
Yeah, which really is just love in the heart. And it really is. We hear that a lot. Oh, it's all about love. And it actually is. Not the kind of love romantic we're thinking about, but actual, the very integral part of what we and who we are. And that's what I love about quantum touch, how it activates the heart, how we really get that brain-heart resonance going on. And it's a big part of the process as well. I had the lady asking me, okay, what's different about quantum touch compared to a lot of the other things you've done? And I'm like, what Kathie always says about it, it is really a breath work modality with an energy component
added to it.
And that's what I love, being breathwork instructor for many years, doing rebirthing, conscious connected over the years, right?
I did.
Oh, yeah, I worked with Stanislav Grof, and I went the indigenous way. And they used to call in Hawaii the priests haoles or howlies, maybe is the word. And it actually means those who pray without breath. They couldn't understand it because breath is where all the power is, where the chi is. It's where it's the sound currents that carry on the breath, and the intention of heart and love, and bringing all of that together creates a lot of power that we can use in many ways for health and healing and creating a different life, a new future, healing the past. Like, it's multidimensional what you can do with it. But what I was saying to people was, what I really think is distinctive about this modality is how profoundly it affects the body. Like, for instance, do you mind telling the story of your knee? Is that okay, Petra? That's a perfect example. Crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of our listeners already know some of my backstory of what happened. They know I've been on a search to help with it for many years. And part, of course, why this podcast exists is exactly that journey. So, yeah, I'll give you a Cliff Notes version here that I had an accident in 2020. It was a really small accident. I fell off a chair, broke my foot. Nothing spectacular happened, except that when the cast came off, I couldn't walk and ended up in a wheelchair for about 6 months. And that kicked off a lot of curiosity and interest for myself of, how does this happen to people, right? Why do some people heal? Why do other people not heal? And most important of all, how do I get myself out of this wheelchair? Over the years, I tried a lot of different things, a lot of different modalities, approaches, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic, all of it. And of course, my experience with quantum touch was that I had some vestiges left of that accident still. We're now 6 years past when that happened, but it still kept me from walking normally. And then I also can't wear normal shoes. I have specially made shoes that come from Switzerland because they're still not quite the way it should be. And so when we were doing the quantum touch workshop, I have a treadmill that I try to use. It's a little bit difficult because of the straight walking, because my knees was really locked up still. I also have these handlebars, giant bars on each side to hang on to when I go on the treadmill so I don't fall down. And so we did the workshop, quantum touch workshop, and Paul and Kathie in the group, they were running energy and doing the breath work. And I didn't even think about it, but I went on the treadmill after, that was the morning after, and all of a sudden I was walking without pain in my knees. So this is very curious for me. And to this day, this was a few months back now, I still haven't had to use the handlebars. take from the story what you will and take from it whatever you believe. But that was definitely an incredible experience, that for 6 years, like chiropractor, physical therapy, swimming, all of those things weren't able to get to that. And yet in that workshop, there was a resolution that was quite incredible. So yeah, it makes me so curious about what happens when we work with these modalities and how it works and what it does.
Yeah, and thank you for that. I just thought that was such a great description, right? Because this is the crazy part. We see this a lot, to the point where it's not called miracles, it's called normals, right? And it's just such an amazing way to work and create this field of energy that others can utilize through their own intelligent inner healer to do whatever they need to do to bring themselves back into balance and harmony and release what no longer belongs and works, and hopefully get the full lessons and see it, and then you can release it. A lot of the problem is a lot of time is trying to tell us something. We keep ignoring it instead of, no, it's your best friend. It's your ally, actually. If you breathe into it, get curious about what it's bringing to tell you. So anyway, yeah, this whole physical thing, because I was a personal trainer, a martial artist, a professional dancer, I really liked the body too, right? So what I loved about this modality is how effective it is for reducing pain, but also aligning the whole body. Because to me, I have an engineering background too. Things need to make sense. And when your body is out of alignment, it can cause a lot of problems for people. And you can look at the problem and miss that a lot of times, if you're out of alignment, you're pinching nerves through the spine, all kinds of things. So what I loved about how it naturally helps people align themselves, that usually 60, 70, maybe even 80% of the time, what the problem is just the alignment. So when the body comes into alignment, then the energy flow can happen. And so that's one part I love about the alignment piece, right? And the other thing, there's certain modalities that say you've got to clean yourself off and of negative energy. You only have so much energy to work with and everything. That's not what we found. We found that when we create this kind of field, that usually the person that gets the best session with me is at the end of the day, because I'm pumped. It's got my energy field up, and I never worry about taking anything on from anyone because the field is just too powerful for that. You might be affected somewhat, you clean that off, but nothing really gets in. So what you start to realize is that we're infinite beings of infinite potential. And that's what the quantum's all about. It's connecting beyond the limitations of 3D into the field, and also realizing all our answers are there, not in our head. We're not going to think our way out of stuff. People just see that and you just keep repeating these patterns. How do you get out of them, right? You can't, like Einstein said, solve the problem in the same place it was made, the consciousness that created it. So how do you go beyond that? You get into witness, you get into the field, you get to experience it differently. And that's what this energy work is all about. And all the information we need is in the field, and it's available to us if we let it in. That's the big deal. It's not so much going out and getting it with the ego as much as it's, no, life is on our side. It's here all the time. Are we letting it in? It's dying to give us a lot of stuff, but have we opened our heart up? Have we cleared the obstacles to love in our heart? Have we fully accepted ourselves? Are we being ourselves? Are we stepping into our gifts? And so I love the way it just tunes into the field, but also helps people to embody what they receive through the energy system and then live it out in their life. So as a therapist, it just took for years. I've been counselor, therapist, and you can only get so far. But I found when you bring the energy component into it and the breath, and you start working with the sound and love and the heart, wow, it just, I watch people transform in such a amazing short way. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be very gentle and soft. Yeah. And fun. It can be fun too, and intense, all at the same time. Anyway, that was a bit, hopefully I I know you probably got lots to add to
No,
that,
I just wanted to. The thing that's occurring to me is I always imagine my audience in the sense my background was in media for years. And it's like, am I being relatable? And I'm imagining people hearing all of this stuff from me and you and Paul and wondering, how do you learn that in a 2-day workshop? Right. And honest to God, it just happens. It's like a download. It's one little piece at a time. You can tell who's going to really struggle with it because they want to know what's next, because this one little piece isn't making enough sense. And it's just like, you have to understand this one little piece. And then the next piece fits in. And it just builds on this beautiful construct that it's like, if you jump into a 2-day workshop full on and just really take it in, your life will change.
Yeah, beautifully said. And I feel also that sometimes we have a different idea of time, that things must take a certain amount of time to be effective, or there must be a certain amount of time that passes before something can change. And I really have found that when we work with these energy medicine, breathwork modalities, that is very often not the case. The construct of time is very different when it comes to a lot of these modalities. And so, what might seem like a 2-day workshop, actually, there's a lot that happens during that time. And I feel it's the same when we are working with quantum touch. The time where you say, look, my knee, it takes 6 years for that to heal, right? But we can look at that very differently when we work with energy medicine, breathwork, energy modalities. So that time simply changes. There's no constraint that says it must take this long for something to happen. So I found that was so curious in the workshops as well. And as I'm working more with this modality, time is a little bit different when it comes to these quantum healing methodologies.
Yeah. You know what comes up for me, just the way you phrased everything was, it's like the 6 years of all the seeking and the pain of therapies and this and that and the other all came together. And it's like the quality of all of that was brought into this one spot where there was like a few little adjustments, and then boom, all of that energy had a place to flow, and everything that you had done came to fruition through that. And it's 5-6 years ago when the earth was really, we were all in wondering what was going on. And I was in the kitchen with my daughter and I said, I know why I've done quantum touch for 10 years now. And she said, why? And I said, because I needed it. I needed 10 years for this to sink in. And yet it had been working on me all along. And then the avalanche of magnificence that starts to come in from all sides it's uncountable how much is being put together for you. And I just feel like this is a real key, mainly because it works with the breath. That because that's what we do. The first thing and the last thing we do is take and give a breath. And when you put all of that intention, attention, focus, frequency, vibration, and the resonance of that, when you take that intention and shift that resonance, and then you've got a new entrainment, something else is going to entrain to you, and you are going to entrain to something else. And that starts to amplify after a while. And then you go back to that beginning of intention, attention, and it's like you don't have the same intention. You have a new quality of attention, and your vibration and your frequency and the focus that you bring to that it will never be the same, right? And that's the gift. The greatest gift is the gradual discarding of all of the wounds and the anything that could hold you in place, where you're like a little child who's your mom's got the back of your shirt and you're wondering why you're not going anywhere. Right? Because it's for your own good on some level, and then for another it's just it takes time, right? But you're going now.
Oh, beautifully said.
It's really exciting that so much of science is supporting the healing field now, right? Like I always remember reading Lord of the Rings and thinking, one day they'll catch up to fantasy on screen. I would love to live this. And boy, did they ever. And it's kind of the same metaphor with the physics. Is the physics is showing the mainstream that there's another world that the indigenous have been pointing to forever. And everything's interconnected. And Rumi would say, there's a field beyond right and wrong. I'll meet you there. And it's beyond limitation, duality, 3D. And it's where it's limitless potential. People ask us a lot of times, what's the limits to this work? And we say, the only limit is what you believe is possible. What you're meeting is yourself and your own conditioning about what is possible in life. And letting that go is what creates quantum life. And it's one thing, too, you hear a lot, we are enlightened, we are eternal, we are infinite. Yes, we are. And if we're already that already, how come we're not living it fully, right? That's the question. We're already that. It's what we're being asked to let go of. Accept it is the real work. It's going beyond the limited belief systems, cultural conditioning, the education, the core wounding. It's all of our story. And then what's possible, whatever we gave the meaning to about us and life, to what I love about quantum touch, how it unravels that. And working with this lady yesterday was interesting because when we talk about quantum touch, just quickly, it's if you cut a tree down, it's 100 years old, it has 100 rings. Someone that knows nature, study the science of it, they'll tell you exactly what that tree's life was for 100 years, like bugs and droughts and too much water and everything. And when it got really tough, it's got knots. We are walking trees. We have a life story in our bodies. And everything is there. We hold it. We hold it all. And we use breath to hold it in too. So when a lot of people are shallow breathers, chest and tummy. So when just the act of breathing a fuller breath allows what's there to start shifting its frequency. So we're not in these holding patterns that then become coping strategies and addictions. We're able to free flow. We're able to journey verse is that come into flow with life instead of resisting it so much. Flow with it and accept things as they are and who we are and our magnificence, really, and just allowing ourselves to fully just be that, to express and live that. Yeah, I went on a bit of a ramble there, but yeah, that's how it feels. And to play with you guys, right? When we're all in the field together, this is another thing. The power of when we join in coherence, it creates a field. And that's what I'm excited about the summit too. When you have so many people coming into resonance, heart resonance, right? Heart-mind resonance, it creates this incredible field that everybody benefits and swims in, right? And it's a great exchange of information. And it's being able to be with that in such a way we can integrate it and live it. That's the thing that I like about quantum touch. It allows the information to get downloaded and then expressed and lived, and gives you all of the tools for healing along the way. It's very holistic. Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. And I feel this gives our listeners a lot of things to ponder on and to explore. And I feel there are also many different rabbit holes that they can definitely jump into when it comes to quantum touch and what you've just shared. So many different things. We could probably make 5 more episodes on that. And I have a feeling our listeners are probably very curious right now as to how they could experience some of what you've shared for themselves. So let us know, how can our listeners connect with you? What do you have upcoming for them that they could maybe find out about quantum touch for themselves?
We have a schedule. We do a quantum touch level 1 every other month so that we can always bring in new people to this work. And then every other month, there's either level 2, 3, or 4. And it was interesting too, because they're all, when Paul was talking about the rings of the trees, I was thinking about supercharging and the rings of the energy bodies around us and the colors that we have. And also the level 3 that we did with you, Petra, when like you're obviously been doing this for a long time and talked to so many people. And it was amazing for you to feel how when the energy won't move and the talk therapy is required, but you use the energy to do the talk therapy kind of thing, where it's not therapy at all. It's just a conversation with the energy of the body. And it shifted a lot of stuff there too. So each of the workshops comes in differently, but we have a schedule on our website, quantumlife.ca. It's a Canadian website. And there's always a level 1 coming up the next month. And we'll put on a little discount for your people so that they can feel encouraged, or package a couple of workshops and maybe a one plus 2, 3, or 4 kind of thing. And just see if we can't get more people on this quantum ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel this is definitely an inroad that we can take when we are looking for some of those answers. And I keep coming back to this quality of life also, right? That we often give away our quality of life in all different kinds of ways and then think that has to be our new normal. Finding ways to help ourselves, to support our healing, our growth. Those are all pieces that bring back little bits in that of the quality of life so that we can thrive, that we can find that joy again. And pain, for one, of course, is not fun to live with at all. Yeah, there's amazing things available now that we have access to, that we can tap into for our own healing and exactly that, the better quality of life. Yeah, thank you both for being here today and for sharing all of that. And for everyone listening in, we'll of course connect to all of the offers and resources in the show notes as well. So be sure to check there on Kathie and Paul's website and what they have coming up for Quantum Touch. I know they also do many other things outside of that. So be sure to check their website. We have some really exciting things coming up for the summit that they are hosting as well, and many more things coming up in the fall. So I feel this journey could be so multifaceted and so many exciting things that you can add to your life. Thank you both for taking the time to share this today and opening up a little bit about what it means to live a quantum life, because that can be quite mysterious. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you for amplifying our passion with your voice. It's so appreciated.
Yeah. And we've loved journeying with you, Petra, and watching how open you are and how you just keep evolving. And that's the journey too, right? Being in a community, and a real community, right? And witnessing each other. And it's important. And the time the world's in right now, a lot's going on. And I feel really excited that you're offering so much. And there's so many great healers, like you said, so many resources. And I feel blessed that Kathie and I can offer this kind of support, because there's a lot going on. And I think we all do need to up our game, because you can't just go through this on your laurels. It's time to discipline, to get a practice, to really don't take this for granted. Get a community, get support, get these things in your life so that you can make this journey more a journey verse, like a lot more fun and easy. Because when you don't, it can be much harder, and you don't need to do it that way. There's another way, and it can be a lot easier. And I just thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you both. And I feel especially in these times, community is so important, and being able to share with others and also share in healing with others, right? This is another important piece of this journey as well. So yeah, thank you both for providing that space and holding that space for us to actually come into this community and be part of that. I'm very grateful that you shared this space today and held this space today for all of us to come into and explore a little bit more about quantum touch. And thanks everyone for tuning in today. Thanks for listening. And definitely check out the resources and try out Quantum Touch for yourself. See what happens, see what you experience. And we'd always love to hear what your experience has been. So let us know on the podcast. Send me a message. I do read actually all of the messages. So send me a message. We'd love to know what happens if you decide to get in touch with your quantum life. So thanks everybody for being here today. Thanks for listening in, and take really good care of yourselves and be well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen in. If you enjoy the Jōrni Podcast, please support us by subscribing, sharing on social media, and leaving us a review. We appreciate you. And you can find more of The Jōrni on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our website, thejōrni.com. Sending you love and courage, and see you next time.